I felt like I had a chance. I had a shot at it.
What was the audition like?
Pretty laid back.
Really?
Pretty laid back. Yeah. I went up and met the guys. I had to borrow the train fare from my mother because I didn't have the train fare to get up there. And I went up and I met the management. I met Glenn and Rob, and we discussed, what they wanted, and they asked me what I wanted, and that was the first indication.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the first indication to me that they wanted a member of the band. They wanted someone with an opinion and ideas and their own thoughts, and
not just a hired gun.
Right, and that was there was more of that to come, but that was my first indication. Looking back on it, that was my first indication that they wanted someone. What did I want? I'm like, I wasn't expecting that sort of question. So we discussed that, and then we went up in the studio, and they plugged me in. Glenn plugged me in through a rig. I can't remember what it was. It was like some processor thing. And he said, "Get your sound together. I'm going to go and make a coffee, and I'll come back up in 10 minutes." So he went downstairs. The studio was upstairs, and he went downstairs. And unbeknownst to me, he stood at the bottom of the stairs and listened as I warmed up. And he said subsequently that he knew then and there, like the search was over. Well, it was a good thing. I didn't have Glenn Tipton sitting there.
Yeah.
So what'd you play?
Yeah.
But I mean, he came in afterwards and he said, like, we've seen some YouTube stuff. We know your history. I've been out with Iron Maiden, and I'm familiar with big stages. You knew a bit of my history. You knew I could play.
Right.
And he actually said he'd be embarrassed if he sat in front, like we're sitting. It was like this. He said he'd be embarrassed. He wouldn't know what to play.
Sure.
And I said to him, Glenn, you don't get opportunities like this every day. This is what you aspire. Like you said, it's like cliche. You aspire to be as good as these guys, but you don't think you're ever going to get the call. And if I can't think of something to play right now, then I might as well give up.
Yeah.
You're not going to get another chance like this.
The game is, you want to be ready for that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready. If I can't think of something to play now, I might as well pick another path.
That makes sense, yes.
And he brought that up after as well, and he said he liked that attitude, and I thought of something to play, I guess, because we all know, breaking the law and stuff like that is not the most technical stuff to play.
So you're not playing, you didn't have to play to a track or anything, and this wasn't a band jam, this wasn't the first interaction with the band yet, No,
it was just me and Glenn in a room. Rob was in the studio, so I just noodled around, like what we're doing now, really. And he said, obviously I know you can play. What we're going to do is we're going to get some tracks together that we're considering playing on the next tour. We're going to see what you do with them, because there's some classic KK Downing solos on there. We want to see what you do with them.
Yeah.
So I went home, recorded my versions of it, and went from there.
So these are new tracks. These are not pre-existing from albums.
No, they're classic tracks.
Oh, classic
they were
tracks.
big tracks.
Okay,
I think it was "Victim of Changes," "Beyond the Realms of Death," "Blood Red Skies," and another one I can't remember. But they wanted to hear what I did with his, and I've never asked them about this, but I did what I thought was faithful to what went before.
So these are the tracks without those guitar parts?
No, he just said, do what you want to do on these tracks, and I just recorded my own. I went back home and done my own little drum pattern on the solo sections.
Oh, gotcha.
And then recorded the rhythm guitars, and fortunately I had the capability to do that. It didn't sound great, but it was enough. I've still got them somewhere. Maybe I
enough to get the idea down, though.
Enough to get the idea down.
Totally.
And my approach was just to honour what went before. I was a big fan of the band, big fan of KK. Honour what went before, but also kind of try and honour myself going forward a little bit. Put me on a little bit of, because that's what they stand for. They stand for standing up for what you believe in as a band, and maybe going against the grain. And this is what we do, and we do it like this, and this is our character and our personality, and we're unique. And so you've got to get a bit of that in there as well. That's
so
important.
That kind of says something to me. The hang, the vibe.
Yeah,
you got to match it. They're looking for that just as much as the player.
1,000%.
Right, just as much as the playing capabilities.
Yeah, I'm not the there's a million better guitar players than me, but I think there's a lot that goes into a band aside from the playing.
Yeah.
As you said, it's the hang. You spend a lot of time with each other, whether it's traveling in a bus or on a plane or on tour or in a studio. There's got to be, a lot of it is that. And then there's the playing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's more to it than just the playing. And I think for a band like that, it's an important thing at that stage of their career.
Right.
They don't want someone to come in there, I don't think, and shred and be all attitudey and
Yeah.
you know, anyone can shred that stuff. It's not the notes that you play; it's how you play the notes. I think more to them and how you are as a person, because you got to live together for the next 2 years.
Right. You're spending time in the travel, and I mean, there's more travel than show stage time.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly that. Yeah. So and they know that.
Yeah.
And I think they're looking for someone, as you said, to hang.
Yeah.
Be a part of the band, rather than someone to come in and play the notes